Black-owned businesses boomed on this block. Grocery stores, clubs, barbers, black people making it hot. They destroyed this neighborhood, forced the beauty that existed here to stop. It's time to stand up and fight to get it back, to bring Rochester's Broadway back. This is a letter to the youth. Demand that we learn this history in our schools.
It used to be Sheps Paradise. Ruther Shepherd is one of the elders that we interviewed for this project that we've been working on. He started Sheps Paradise. He was the second African-American person to own it. The first man was the first black person to ever get a license, a liquor license in Rochester, New York. People used to come here to listen to jazz music, to hang out. He was here for a long time. But it really hurt the community when urban renewal came in and RIT left. It really hurt the community, and eventually he had to close his doors.
Let's face it, as soon as we arrived, they fought hard to make sure we wasn't going to survive. They said we weren't hard workers because we refused to mop Kodak, Xerox, and box salon floors. We were seen as poor, living in 6 family houses that barely have doors. But even if we prayed for better, we couldn't get more. See, we could only live in 2 wards, the 7th and the 3rd. They tried to cage us in and keep our voices unheard. We applied just for them to deny and provide more janitorial jobs and got the nerve to question the cause of the July 64 mobs. I'm tired. We tired because the same blocks that we walk today feel like pit stops for no change. And no, I don't live in poverty. And no, I'm not just another angry black teen. Or am I? Because back then, they had Clarissa Street. The Pythodd was the place to be. Rochester's Broadway was like a black Wall Street. No black on black crime. We have black-owned businesses. But we could never live happily. Because once they seen us living our best lives, they destroyed it in the name of urban renewal. Man, it's all lies. And because I thought the RPD said something. We have a list of demands and we still want y'all to fund it. But to my black and brown people, better is coming.
Yeah.
Kwame Ture once said that history is made by everyone. And despite the odds, that's what the residents on Clarissa Street and the 3rd Ward did. They were living their best lives. They were booming with black-owned businesses in places like the Pythodd, which was the center of jazz music. The Pythodd was the place to be back in the day, and everybody knew it. You would go to church on Sunday, and after you would run down to the Pythodd and listen to the great jazz musicians from Rochester and the country. We have some of the greatest musicians to ever known to come and play at the Pythodd, such as Pee Wee Ellis, Ray Bryant, and the great Gat Mangone, who was in fact from Rochester himself and whose music has been sampled by hip-hop artists in the 90s and is one of my favorite musicians of all time. But as I was saying, the Pythodd was a spot in the 1950s and the 1960s. Tina Chapman DaCosta said in her interview with the Democrat and Chronicle that because it was in the neighborhood, it was a jazz club in the neighborhood, she said. It was integrated into the lives of the people who lived there. You had a little bit of adventure, and you had a wonderful mix of talent that was happening in the place. So now you see that Clarissa had great times in the Pythodd, and I wish it would never been destroyed. The Pythodd will always be remembered in the hearts of our elders. The youth have been advocating that something has be built as a memorial and ode to the Jazz Center of America right here on Rochester's Broadway. The Pythodd is gone, but we are working so that it will never be forgotten.